how to take the face off, how to take it apart, all that fun stuff. What I use is I just use a little putty knife to get it snap off. I like to start on the bottom. That way I'm not marring up. If you do, you don't mar up that top, and you notice it a lot less down here. So you have a little clip here and here. So I like to put my putty knife about a ½ an inch from the edge there, push down, and then you just kind of walk it up. And you can see how there's a little gap right there more than there. Then same thing on this side, about a ½ inch over, and push it up. Doesn't take much force whatsoever to get that. And then you just kind of fold it like that, and then the face comes off. So make sure you make note. There's a little blue line across this ribbon here on the top of from the top of the radio. And see how there's no blue line there. So make sure you make a note of which way that ribbon is plugged in. I've never tried to reverse it, so I don't know if it will work or if it'll do damage if you do that. So again, make sure you make a little note. All you do is just kind of pinch it, and then just slightly pull, maybe rock it back and forth, and it comes undone. I know you can buy these ribbons off of eBay, already pre-folded. See how they got like a little fold right there so you don't damage it, so it fits in there a little snugger. Same thing on the inside, you just pull it out. Again, there's a little blue line there, you know which direction to do it. I'm going to set that off to the side there. Again, with the putty knife, I don't like to do the top because if you make a little mark you can kind of see it. So you just kind of do the same thing at the bottom. In fact, you can see a couple little marks right there. So same thing, just kind of push it in there. And then you just hear that little snap. Hold it, come over to this side. Up, the other side just snapped it back in there. So you just kind of got to watch for it. Like I said, it doesn't take much at all. You can see where it clips into there. So that's why you want to put your putty knife about a ½ inch over, so you're getting underneath that clip. Same thing right there, you're getting underneath that clip. And then normally you can just kind of walk it out and it just comes off. If you notice, there's a notch right here, so that goes around the speaker. So if you try and put it in the wrong way, it's not going to fit. I mean, you won't even be able to get it even started. So just again make a little note that you snap that back in the right place. So we'll push that off to the side. There's really no reason to take this ribbon off. You can just leave it there. That's what I would do. So now you need to disconnect the speaker. So usually if you have fingernails, you can just kind of pull from each side, work it. Sometimes you might actually have to grab the wires. You really don't want to do that. So you just kind of, if you just work it from back and forth, eventually it will come out of there. Yep, you can see where I just pulled the wires out. So again, you don't want to do that. So you can just use a little putty knife, pull that out, and you can put the wires right back into the plug, like so. And then just keep an eye on it when you plug it back in. It's not going to harm anything. So to get the speaker out of here, basically you can just take your thumbs on each side and you kind of hear a clip or a little click, and then you can just pick it straight out like so. And again, you'll see where you can't put the speaker in one way, only one way. Alright, so this gets a little tricky here. The reason is you have your volume control. I have never had good luck without damaging this, trying to pull this off. It's got 4 clips that holds that in there really tight. So because of the volume knob goes down inside there, this circuit board's got to come straight out. If it doesn't come straight out, you'll end up breaking that volume switch. So just don't go pulling from this side. So Normally I try and get it free so you can see how it's, clipped in there. See how the circuit board kind of goes around. Got those little edges. And you have 4 of those. One there, there, and there. So first you can pull it through. What you can do is put your finger on here and push that board out a little bit as you get it in there. So then what I do is I usually just turn it upside down, and you can literally just shake it out of there. See how it's kind of flush? And you're not worried about breaking that board. So this is what I was talking about. You have 1, 2, 3 clips in there, and the trying to unsnap that without breaking those clips from the outside is pretty hard. So normally you can just go in there with your finger, thumb, and work those buttons out. It's pretty easy. As long as if you don't turn this while it's out, and you don't turn this while it's out, you can snap that right back into place. You can see how it's kind of, just replace them all. The up and down buttons you cannot replace. So you just have to do a good job of maybe trying to clean them. Like I say, use a magic eraser. Probably be about your best. Get all the goop and gunk out of there. So now that we got that replaced, we're just going to slip this back through here. Nice and easy. And again, remember what I told you about that volume button. If you turn that button, this is not going to go in there. Then you're going to probably damage something. So as long as you don't turn it as you're pulling it out or monkeying with it, you don't have to snap this off. But since we did, we're just going to leave it off to the side and put it back on there. So the same thing, you're just going to reverse the process. That membrane kind of slips in and out of there a little bit, but it's not really that big of a deal. You're just going to push it over to this side here, and then just nice and easy, work it over, make sure things are lining up. You don't really need to force it. If it's not going in easy, it's because these buttons are getting hung up in there, and you have it cocked inside there. So you want to get it, make sure you get it pushed down nice and straight all the way down. Obviously you don't want to be pushing on those circuit boards and try and push towards the edge. Make sure your buttons are all falling into place. This is not getting caught into there. And then you just kind of pull this case apart, and it'll just snap itself right back into place there. Pretty easy. See, it's all in there. And then the same thing, got that flat spot in there. You need to make sure you snap your button in there. If snap back in, and there you go. That's it. Put your speaker back into place. Same thing. You just pull the edges apart, get it down there nice and even, flat. It'll all snap right back into place. You just have the 2 clips on each side there. Make sure you plug your speaker wire back in there, because that would kind of stink to have it all back together without forgetting to plug that in, then have to take it all apart. Take this again. Remember what I talked about, these notches. So just make sure you put your ribbon over here. You don't want to kink it and damage it. Just make sure that ribbon's over on the outside. Normally I'll just kind of rock it to one side to get it started like that. You can hear it snap in there, and then snap in there. Got your zone monitor, home scan, all the buttons are working. Again, like I said, make sure you make a note of how that blue line, I've taken part 3 of these radios to replace buttons. That blue line has always been towards the top of the radio. Again, I don't know if the radio will work or you'll damage the radio. And it's a little bit of a pain to get it in there. Just get it in straight and kind of wiggle it back and forth, just like so. And then same thing, I just kind of start from the top, get into place right there, and then just roll that back over. And that's it. It's pretty easy. I know for me, when I mount these radios under a seat, if you have like a remote head or if you're mounted it into the dash. I like to put the heat sinks facing up. Heat rises. I just think it will keep this cooler, especially if it's mounted in a confined area. So you can flip this head over and still do it. So again, we'll just 1/2 inch over, push down, just kind of rock it back and over. You'll kind of hear a little snap. So depending on how your ribbon is, you can spin this. Obviously you want to spin it in a direction that's not going to put much force on that ribbon, and you want to make sure it doesn't get crushed in there. So you can just rock it over. Same thing. Now you have your heat sinks up on top, the radio facing the right direction. In all honesty, this cover you really don't need. You just take that same putty knife, work it in there, and you just got to get it past these clips for the bracket. Usually I just kind of work over to there. I know that sounded kind of loud on clipping that, but you're not going to damage it. These covers are pretty tough. So this is technically the top of the radio. This is the bottom of the radio. But like I said, if you're going to store this in something or maybe under a seat, it's probably, with the remote, using a remote head, it's best to probably flip this over. And then like that. And that's it. Hopefully you guys do it. Just take your time. Get a nice, good. I know they sell, Motorola sells a specific tool. Just about every toolbox has something like this. Just use this. Make it easier on yourselves, guys. It's not that difficult. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed and it was informative.